Hey y'all, Shayla for Making Lemonade from Lemons, and today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working on canning some meat that I got on special. It had been marked down in the store, and so I picked up several packs, and that way I can get it in jars and on the shelf. So I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about canning it. Okay, before we get started, there's actually two different ways that you can do ground beef in the canner. You can either can it raw pack, or you can do what's called par cooking. And I'm gonna do the par cooking because that's the way my family likes it. So the first thing I have to do is I have to open up these packs and get the meat into this pan over here. And then I'm going to brown it like I would any other ground beef. And I don't have to make sure that every little bit of it is completely done because it will cook the rest of the way in the canner, but I do want to get it mostly cooked.
I met him on a sunny day in late July, and everything turned upside down. I almost lost track of time as weeks went by. I couldn't get him off my mind. I told him I want that great love, like standing in the middle of a bonfire. You don't know how you got there, but you hold tight, knowing that you can't get burned. Just tell me how we lost track of everything but each other. I honestly don't know. And tell me how we messed up, drifting away from each other. Didn't want to let you go. Cause we wanted different things, and I have to deal with it, but it's not easy. So tell me how to let go, cause you really seem to know how to carry on your own. Ever since I got a good look in his eyes, I just knew that he was special. He said he wanted to take it slow, but I couldn't help that I wanted to take it to the next level. Cause I wanted that great love, like standing in the middle of a bonfire.
Once your ground beef is ready, then you're going to put them in the jars. Now, my jars were sterilized because I had them run through my dishwasher on the sterilized setting. However, you don't necessarily have to sterilize them if you're going to pressure can. And for any meat product, you need to pressure can it. You just really need to make sure your jars are clean. And I have my rings and lids set out here. And so I'm going to show you how I go about canning. If you're going to raw pack instead of doing the par cook like I did, you would simply fill your jar up to about the shoulder of your jar with ground beef and pack it in as tight as possible with as few air pockets as possible. I'm going to cook this in batches because I have 6 pans, and I could probably fit most of it in, but since I can't fit it all in, I'm just going to cook it in batches. Okay, so what you're going to do is, or what I do, is I just get my meat that's been browned and I put it into my jar, and I'm going to fill it up until I get to about the edge of the rim down here, and I want to pack it in a little bit because you want to put as much in as you can get in. Alright, then, but you still want to, of course, you still want to leave a 1-inch headspace. And a headspace is basically the space between the liquid and meat and the top of your jar. So then what I do is I like to use bouillon in mine. And so I use a teaspoon of the Better Than bouillon. And you can dissolve it first if you want to. I'm not going to dissolve it in here because the water, once I start canning it, it will dissolve it into the water for me and it'll all mix together. So then once I get that done, I go ahead and I pour the water over it. And this water has been filtered through my Berkey water filter. If you don't have a Berkey water filter or something similar like Alexa Pro or something like that, then you do want to use water, distilled bottled water or something similar, so that you're not getting any kind of chlorine or fluoride in your water, in your canning, because it can cause the flavor to be off. Then you're going to take something, you can either use something like this, or there's another tool that is called a debubbler that you can use. It's a plastic tool that comes in most canning kits that is specifically for measuring the headspace. You can use the end of that. And you're just going to go around and you're going to make sure that there's no air inside the jar. Alright, and then you're going to make sure that there's still an appropriate headspace. And there is still an inch headspace here, so I don't need to add water or take any away. Then what you want to do before you put the lid on, I have a dish here and it's got white vinegar, and then I have a cloth over here, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to wipe around the rims just to make sure, and as I'm wiping I'm kind of feeling to make sure that there's no chips on my jar lid or jar mouth, and I'm also making sure it's clean. Then I put my lid on and I tighten it fingertip tight. So you don't want to ratchet down on it. That can cause problems in the canning process. So you just want to make sure it's fingertip tight. And then I will put this in my canner. And I'm going to do that with the rest of these.
Middle up on fire, you don't know how you got there, but you hold tight, knowing that you can't get burned. Just tell me how we lost track of everything but each other. I honestly don't know. And tell me how we messed up, drifting away from each other, didn't want to let you go. Cause we wanted different things and I have to deal with it, but it's not easy. So tell me how to let go, cause you really seem to know.
Okay, so there were only 8 jars worth of the ground beef. My canner can fit 18 jars, pint size. In order not to waste space and electricity, that kind of thing, I went ahead and also put in some dried beans to can, and I'll show you. There's baby lima beans. And there's black beans. And so that way it's completely full and it doesn't waste any space. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the lid on it. What you want to make sure to do you need to make sure the seal is checked properly. If you have a seal, you have to make sure that you know your canner. So for my canner, the seal, there's a seal. In All American, there's not a seal. This is a Presto, and so there's a seal. So I just need to make sure that the seal was good and that it was in there properly, and then I put my lid on. Alright, and I make sure that it is sealed tight. So I'm going to let the canner come up to pressure. It's 11 pounds of pressure for 75 minutes here in my altitude and for my specific canner. When you're canning, you need to make sure that you know the specifications for your specific canner, as well as the information from either the Ball Book of Canning or the National Center for Home Food Preservation. I will link both Ball and the National Center for Home Food Preservation in the links below. Also, Misty over at Mama Z's Texas Kitchen does a lot of canning, and she also has canning videos on things like dried beans and that kind of thing. So if you're interested, go over and check her out. I will leave a link below for her channel as well. So like I said, Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. She's got a really good channel, lots of cooking, lots of canning. So go and check her out.
Met him on a sunny day in late July, and everything turned upside down. I almost lost track of time as weeks went by. I couldn't get him off my mind.
Okay, so my canner has already run at 12 pounds of pressure for 75 minutes, and then I turned it off and it has set, and the valve has already dropped. So I have removed the regulator, and I'm going to open it up and take out some of my jars and show you what they look like. That's what the lima beans look like. And the black beans. Okay, and so this is what the ground beef looks like, and as you see, it's still bubbling and boiling, and that is what it's supposed to look like. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for spending time with me, and for, oh, they're already starting to pop, so that means they're sealing. There's another one. So I'm going to take the rest of these out, let them cool off, let them seal and do their thing, and we will see you soon. Bye.